Good morning, everybody. Hopefully you're having a good day so far. Thank you for tuning in this morning. I'm sorry it took me a minute to get online. The sharing, long story. I took care of it. It just took me a couple minutes to get signed out and signed back in. So I'll try to get caught up here. The agenda for today is to talk about buyer and selling presentations using the Bold Trail platform and specifically the Bold Present system. Some of you I see I've talked with previously, so good to see you again as always. And you've probably interacted with this a little bit more, and I will be able to get into some different ideas and features of the system. And then my goal is to wrap this up around 15 minutes to the hour and provide time to ask questions, whether it be about Present or anything else within the Bold Trail system. I will monitor the chat. You can unmute yourselves as well to speak and ask questions. So right now I'm going to mute everybody just in case somebody's phone rings or kid walks in the door, dogs start barking, whatever the case may be. If you need to unmute yourself, feel free to do so. So let's see here. I'm going to share my screen. Looks like I've got that going. I'm going to minimize a couple things here. For those of you that have sat in on my sessions, again, welcome back. Thank you for tuning in. I always put in my contact information as a resource for all of you, even though I'm based here in Scottsdale, Arizona. I'm not an employee of RE/MAX LLC or anything like that. I'm a general manager of 20 plus years with RE/MAX here in Scottsdale. But I've gotten to know the technology end of things, and that's essentially my role for you today, is to help you learn more about the Bold Trail system and the Present system specifically. So my contact information, name, email address, phone number, and my online calendar is listed in the chat. And then also the information for the product support team is there as well. Product support is going to be the person to call when you say, hey, my listings aren't syncing with the system. When something just flat out ain't working, product support is going to be your resource to fix things, whereas I can be a resource for maybe verifying configuration, telling you where something is, showing you how to achieve a certain goal or outcome on the platform. And I'll do my best to help with whatever questions you have. I don't want you waiting for me to respond to something that I literally can't help you with because of my access to the system or the lack thereof. So let's see, for those of you that were a part or have been kind of paying attention to the information coming out from RE/MAX, they did what they call their Success Summit last month, and they recorded everything. They were live sessions done by the trainers at RE/MAX LLC. It was an intense and immense amount of content that they produced, and again, recorded and have made available on demand for everyone to view. So if you're wanting kind of more in-depth, detailed, advanced training, they've offered that via the Success Summit, but they've also offered some training on how to get started, things like that. So whether you're brand new to the Bold Trail system or you feel like you could be training on it, there's something in there for all of you. So I've included that link down below in the chat. And I would encourage you to save that link or refer to it later if you are trying to get more information about the features and tips and tricks of the Bold Trail platform. So we're going to dive into the Present system. As I said, I'm going to go over to the main screen here. So the way you sign into Max Center is the way into Bold Trail. So you go enter in your remax.net email address and your password. If you don't know what those are, click on this forgot username or password link down below. And if you're completely stuck and just having a day and can't make this work, you've got a call or text customer support number here. They can help you as well. Myself and your local RE/MAX staff do not have access to your passwords for the Max Center or Bold Trail system. You will have to reset it or contact product support for access or to reset your access to get into the platform. So once you are in the system, we're going to click, actually, I'm going to click back. It looks like I got kicked out of something here. Here we go. Gonna click Max Center. Perfect. All right. So Click on apps and tools over on the left-hand side. Your screen might look a little different than mine just because I'm got manager status and can do some different things to help the office. But click apps and tools over here on the left-hand side. If you don't see the platform Max Tech powered by Bold Trail icons, scroll down. You might see an all apps blue button over here as well. So you can also click through the different tabs to get to the Max Tech powered by Bold Trail option. They used to have an updates one. It looks like they finally kind of put that down below. So platform Max Tech powered by Bold Trail is the one you're going to want to click on in order to get into the Bold Trail platform. And then once the system loads, we are going to go into the present system. Now, I want to show you a couple things before I dive right into the present system. I've always said that the onboarding and support surrounding the Bold Trail platform is some of the best I've ever seen in my 20 plus years of being in real estate and doing tech trainings and testing and prodding different technology systems for my office. So the way you get to that is you go down to the More button down in the bottom left-hand corner, and then you've got training, learning path, support resources, and then a training calendar of all the trainings that they do throughout the course of the month that's offered to all of the subscribers to the Bold Trail platform. And then over here on the right-hand side is a little chat bubble where you can actually talk in real time with the Remax product support team. I've used this many, many times. You are dealing with locally based support staff. So again, it's a great resource if you are stuck and needing help while you're in the platform. Usually you don't have to wait more than a couple minutes for somebody to connect with you. Just depends on the day and how many people are in the platform. Okay, so we've gotten all the support and where to find help when you need it. I'm kind of at your fingertips. Over here on the left-hand side under marketing is where you're going to click to go into the present system, or you can just type in present up in the search bar and you can get into the present system that way. So 2 ways to get into the platform. Pick your poison. And yesterday the system was acting a little bit slow, and I'm not sure what that was attributed to. Like any other technology product platform, they do run updates and they do run into service issues occasionally. So hopefully we will not run into that today, but just know that I'm sure they're doing everything they can to keep the system up and running and working quickly and smoothly for everybody's benefit. Okay, so here we are in the present system. This is where you're going to be able to create seller presentations or listing presentations and buyer presentations, and then just general presentations. So if you want to create something that's just kind of talking about the value of Remax or things like that without real data in there, you can create just general presentations as well. They have templates for the collection. They have templates for commercial. So if you want to create just kind of a general presentation, you can do that as well. So I'm just going to kind of start at the top here and work my way down. Custom settings. So this is a way where you can go in and personalize your presentations a bit. So let's go to personalized content over here on the right. Click edit. You can change your information, kind of your bio, if you will. You can add images to your bio page if you choose. In a minute, I'll show you how you can or what that looks like. So if I have a logo here, we've got a title of affiliate that we use. I can add that in if I want to, and it'll populate there, but I'm not going to do that right now. I'm just going to turn that off. So if you have like a team logo or something else, maybe your own branded logo, one of these caricatures or something like that, you can drop that in there by clicking display image. And then these choose experience level, it's basically almost like an AI type tool that creates a template for your bio. So if you're like, oh gosh, I don't know what to write about myself, it'll kind of give you some pointers on how to write your bio. And then as you can see, it's all over here. So if I want to save it, I'll click save and continue. Just for now, I'm going to click cancel for myself. Testimonials, if you have testimonials you want to add in. Now, this is all going to be saved. So once you add this information or make these changes, it's going to be presented in every single presentation that you create. So a little front end work on your part will create some value that will be ongoing as you're in the present system. So if you have a handful of client testimonials, you can add a bunch in if you want. I think if you want to use like if you have a testimonial site like Reach 150 or your Zillow profile, if you've got a bunch of reviews on your Zillow profile, you can grab that link and share it here too. So otherwise, you can just add them in manually. And then, as I said before, and with anything in the present system, you want to make sure you're clicking save and continue, because the system will not just automatically save stuff. Most of the time, it'll say, hey, did you mean to, click cancel? You made some changes, but it's always good to just make sure you click that button to save them. Customize your presentation over here on the left. I don't really think there's much value in going in here and monkeying with this stuff, because it's all pre-populated content from Remax. And if you start changing stuff, you actually can damage the slides and the way they're presented. So if you're feeling spunky and you want to get in and tweak it and whatnot, I would just highly, highly, highly encourage you to very closely look at a finished presentation before you print it out. Because again, I've heard that if you go in and make some of these changes, it can shift things around and make the presentation maybe not look the way you want it to. So again, I'm all for inspiring creativity and personalizing and playing with things, but just understand you can kind of break it in a way if you're not if you're a little overzealous and not paying attention. So just be careful. If you're not an advanced user, I would say just stay away from this customized presentation. Let's focus on personalized content, and that's really all you need to do here. Okay. Now, the presentation library, these are all the slides that have been created both by Bold Trail and Remax that you'll have available to you within the platform. I'll show you at the end of creating a presentation where you're able to add and remove these from your presentations. But if you want to get in and just look at what these slides look like, you can do that here on this section. So let's say I wanted market analysis. Here are all the different market analysis slides that I'll be able to choose from when I get to that point. Now, what I call these are boilerplate slides. The majority of them, you're not going to be able to edit them. But the only thing you're going to be able to edit is something that has actual like comp data that you're pulling in from the MLS or that you're entering in yourself. So all of these Remax, buyer consultation, seller consultation slides, you're not going to be able to edit these, but you can add and remove them from your presentation. And then the last thing here, and this is definitely more advanced, and I can come back to this and spend more time on it later. If you want to create your own slides, like maybe you've got a presentation system you've been using and it's got a couple slides that talk about the value of a home and how it relates to days on market and things like that. There's things like that in here already, but if you've got some that you're just like in love with, or you've got maybe you've got a vendor that you work with and they've got a really cool PDF or JPEG image that you want to incorporate into your presentation, this custom slide, add a slide, is where you can go in and add an image. So, as I said before, we have a title company that we work with here in our office. So let's say this why Red Rock flyer. Okay, I can drop that in there, and then I can type in whatever I want about Red Rock and the value of title and the services they provide, and discounts that are available because of the relationship, anything. I can type all that in, and then I can save it and add to the library. But what you want to make sure you do here at the top is make sure you save the information and categorize it the way it needs to be a part of the presentation. So if it's regarding a buyer, you probably want to have it be in a category that pertains to buyers. For myself, yeah, because I'm a manager, this may or may not be an option for you, but obviously I'd want to keep it for myself. So again, make sure you categorize and sort this as you see fit. You can choose from a variety of templates. They also have where you can upload your own presentation. So if you've got a PDF file of maybe 4 or 5 pages that has, like I said, information that you have used it before and you want to continue using it, you can click on upload presentation, and then you would need to upload a web-friendly or a PDF version, because PDF is going to print it what we call in portrait mode, and web version is presented in landscape mode. So if you're going to add these things in, it would be wise to have it in two different formats. Otherwise, the system will just kind of make it fit, but it may not look perfect, if you know what I mean. So if you take a portrait PDF and you throw it into a system that's supposed to be landscape, you'll just probably have big borders on the right-hand side, and it may not look exactly the way you want it to. So just keep that in mind. And again, this is more advanced. I understand that, and I can come back and talk about that more later. If you have like a video that you want to incorporate into the presentation, obviously that's only going to be for web versions. So if you're printing your PDF or printing your presentations and handing it or emailing it to someone, obviously the video is not going to show up in a PDF. It would only be a part of the web-based version that is being created. So again, just collect whatever the URL is. So if it's a YouTube video, a Vimeo video, or something you've got hosted elsewhere, you need that actual URL link. It's not a, it doesn't look like it gives you the option of actually uploading a MP4 or MPEG file or something like that. You have to actually have it hosted somewhere online. So again, YouTube is probably the more likely place you'll host your videos, but there are other ones out there. And then click Save and Add to Library, and then that video will always be there for you to be able to use in your presentations. So, and then if you're wondering, web view, PDF view, it's just going to show you what it's going to look like in PDF and web format. So, and then click Save and Add Library when you're done and you're confirmed that everything looks the way you want it to. Or in my case, I don't want this because I'm doing demos. I'm just going to click cancel and kind of get back to where I started. So, and then I can click back here. I can click on the word present, and here I am back in the presentation screen. Now, one thing I'll point out is if you scroll down, you will see all of the presentations you've created. So if you create a buyer presentation, a seller presentation, and 2 weeks, 2 months, 2 years later, you want to go and update it and not recreate the whole thing, you can just scroll down and find it, or type in the name of the presentation and you can find it that way. Okay. So I've got a handful of presentations I've done for demonstrations or friends or whatever. These are the ones that I have available. Now, one thing that's kind of cool is over on the right-hand side, you can see analytics. So if you send a presentation, a web presentation to someone, it will actually give you analytics of anything they've clicked on, any any like the amount of time they've spent on a page, things like that. So you can kind of find out what has piqued the interest of that person. So, and that's just right here. Again, because I'm in a demo mode, I don't have actual analytics available because I'm not sending these out to my own buyer sellers. I don't actively list and sell real estate. I've been licensed for 20 years, but my role is just not competing is what I call it. I'm a non-competing manager. So anyhow, versions, what this means is I've updated this 11 times. Not that big of a deal. It shows me when I last updated it. If I need to quickly get to the web link of it or the PDF here, I can click either of those. And then I can also click on the email, which will allow me to email it to one of my contacts. Now, the contact needs to be loaded into the CRM. So you can't just put in Bob at gmail.com. You have to have that person loaded in the CRM as a contact in order for you to be able to find them and send them the information. And it only takes you a minute to add in the contact, and I can show you how to do that later. We've talked about it in other sessions, but here's where you can quickly send that presentation. So if they say, hey, didn't get it, can you resend it to me? You can just quickly pop in over here, click this, and send it to them. And then the web link will take you directly to the actual link for the web-based presentation. Then the PDF will take you, will allow you to download the presentation as well. So again, just kind of working my way through the screen here so you can see what is in the system. And now we're going to get into actually creating a presentation. Okay. So before I do that, I'm looking at the chat. I don't see any questions that have come up. Again, if you want to unmute yourself, you can do so if you do have a question. Otherwise, I'm going to keep moving. All right. Looks like we're good. All right. So we're going to start with a listing presentation. Now, listing presentation and a buyer presentation, the way you build it is very very similar. It's really about the content and what the data and the content is that you are going to be selecting and creating, adding and removing from the presentation. But these are kind of templates, if you will, that will minimize the amount of time you have to spend creating the presentation. So for a buyer, for a win the representation of a buyer, there's really, the system is assuming you haven't shown them properties yet. You're really just trying to get them to engage with you and hopefully sign that buyer broker agreement, or whatever the agreement is called in your areas. The buyer tour is, again, you would have a list of properties and it would show them the properties, and we'll get to that in a minute. And then when the offer is, it's more like a win the listing presentation. And then general presentation is just exactly what it says it is. It's not really putting in any kind of market data. It's just more information about, the value of the brand, what you should be aware of if you're buying or selling a home, things like that. So, all right, presentation for sellers. Let's click on start. And then what is the address? All right, let's try 5805 East Mitchell Road. Sure, let's see what that is. Now, if there's an apartment or suite number, we're going to add that in, and then click next. And this looks like it may not be a house. All right, let's do 678 6 North 88. 2 North 88th Place. I'm going to click back. Normally you would know the address. I thought I had a good address, but it looks like it either went active or something happened, and now I need to go back into the presentation, start over. Oh, of course. Let's just go back to present. There we go. Hey. I got off track. So, this is good for training purposes as well, because if you ever get kicked out of the system for one reason or another, you click the back button too many times or something like that, you can always just come back into the main screen of the bullet trail system, click present, and should take you back in. So don't ever panic. Just try to retrace your steps back to the beginning and start over if you have to. So there we go. All right. Sellers presentations. 1, 2, 6, 6, 6, 8 North 88th. There we go. Perfect. All right, Scottsdale, Arizona. And it's still not pulling in information. That's okay, because we can go ahead and add in whatever we want. So again, good for demonstration purposes. It will pull tax records or MLS records, but if the property hasn't been listed or sold in a while, it may not pull up the data. So you may have to just enter in the information yourself. So we'll say this home was built in 87. There's no apartment suite number. Everything else looks good. And in some instances, I've seen it pull in bath, square footage, year built, and then the beds will be 0. So again, it's just a matter of what data source it's pulling the information from. So be careful and don't skip over this. Definitely look at it and adjust it as needed, because even though it may be, a home that was built last year or something like that, and there should absolutely be accurate tax records on it, the system, for one reason or another, may pull something else. So just make sure you got the right comp data in there. Now, let me move this a little bit. All right, so I'm going to start in the big picture here. So you can see all these pins, and down here is the key code. In Arizona, coming soons are not fed via the data feed, so we don't have to worry about coming soons ever showing up in our comps. You might find that your MLS does share them, and that's fine. But here, the number is always going to be in 0. So in Arizona, if you're an Arizona agent, that number is always going to be 0 unless the MLSs get together and say, okay, let's start syndicating coming soon data. Actives are green, pendings are orange, solds are 4. So I actually kind of like these numbers. I don't need a ton of actives. I definitely want some solds, and a pending or two would be good too. Now I can zoom in and see what these are. I can click on them. I can say, oh, no, I want to remove that from the comps. No, I can click on more info to see what that property is and looks like. So here's, some stuff here. It tells me what it's sold for, some other data, listing description, notes, things like that. That's all over here. Click on them to expand them. And this is just MLS data or tax records is where it's getting this information from. And then I can click on it to close it out. Now, I'm going to get into how you can find how you can change the comp parameters. So, this is not the only screen you can weed out your comps, but it's an option for some of you. It starts with the 1 mile radius. You can go down to a 1/4 mile radius, or you can go out to 15-mile radius. So if I click on 7 mile, you're going to see that circle get real big, and these numbers down here under total matches is going to get real big too. So what I also like is you can draw your area as well. Yeah, 166 matches. That's probably more comps than we need. But if it's a home in a rural area or something like that, or there just hasn't been a lot of data, you might need to go out that far. So the other option here is I'm just going to click reset, bring everything back to the 1 mile radius. And then I'm going to click on the draw icon here, the draw button. And let's just say my listing is in a community called Sweetwater Ranch. So I can just actually draw a map around this area if I want, or draw a polygon, a rectangle, whatever around it. And then that's going to give me all those properties in that area as well. And then I can search for an area, which this may work for you, it may not. It just depends on how your MLS categorizes neighborhoods. Like here's Sweetwater Ranch, Sweetwater Estates. They are two different, distinctly different communities. So I could just do Sweetwater Ranch and then boom, it automatically knows the area of the Sweetwater Ranch. So that might be helpful to you as well. And then I can click reset if I need to reset it. Now, if you go in and you look at these comps and you're like, oh gosh, they're just all over the place. They really don't match up with what I need. So here on the left-hand side is where you can narrow in on different aspects of that property. So you've got property type, bed count. So let's say I want 2 to 3 bedrooms instead of just 2. I can expand that out. I can do 1 to 3. I can do 2 to 4. I can do 3 to 4. I can do, I just change it. I just grab the little slider and move it around. Total bath count, same thing. Now the system doesn't allow you to do half baths, 3/4 baths, 1/4 baths. It's either 1 bath, 2 baths. So if you've got a property that's a 2.5 bath, you're probably going to want to do the 2 to 3 bath range or 2 to 4, depending on how many comps the system will be able to produce for you. Square footage, it automatically allocates a 20% plus and minus. So that may be most adequate for you, but you do have the ability to change that. I always like messing with the year range. I go a couple years before the subject property was built to a couple years after, but if you're talking about a home that just got, blasted to the studs and completely remodeled, obviously your year built may need to be changed because the house is essentially brand new with the exception of maybe some plumbing, electrical, and some load-bearing walls. So click the little checkbox to save those changes. Close date, it goes out 6 months, but depending on the market you're in and the area you're in, you may need to expand that out further. I don't know if you can grab the other side of it. Yeah, you can. So let's say I just want properties that have been sold between the last 6 and 10 months. I can do that, okay? You just grab the sliders and move them around. Lot size, you can change square foot, acre, just depending on your market and what you want to do. And then that is the high level, quickly narrow down your comps right there. And you can see we definitely eliminated some options. So I might need to go back and reset my bed count to 2, my bath count maybe go to 4, maybe expand out my square footage a little bit. I mean, I can come in and just change these as I need to provide more property. So now here we've got more selections to, more comps to choose from. Now down here, add on MLS comparables. So a lot of you are masters of your MLS and know how to whittle down your comps very quickly and easily. And in different markets, you've got different features that may be very important to you, like in Arizona, pools, casitas, mountain views, things like that. You might want to, really fine tune your comp. So if you want to, you can go into your MLS and just copy all the MLS numbers of comps that you want to load into the system, and then you can enter them here. You just got to type in the comp, the MLS number followed by a comma, and you can add in as many as you want. So when you do that, it's going to add them in as available comps to your report. So again, for the person who really wants to take very fine control of their data without having to go in and make these adjustments to fine tune and get your comps, you can just grab the MLS numbers from your MLS and load them in manually right down here at the bottom. Add off MLS comparable. This is something new. You can add in, if you know of a property and some data about it, you can manually add that in if you choose to do so. Optional fields, other things. These are all features of a property. Right now, I don't see a high use or a good reason to utilize a off MLS comparable. But depending on your market, you might need to for whatever reason. Maybe you sold a house next door and you want to add that information in because it's relevant data, but it's just the data is so old or it's not in the MLS. Maybe it was an off-market deal that you closed, something like that. You can go that way. So once you've got your list of actives and solds and pendings and coming soons if they apply to you, once you've got that information loaded in here, you can go to build CMA. So again, we're going to let it kind of spin its wheels and load, and here we go. All right. So again, kind of working down from the top, it shows us how many comps were brought into the report. Again, we can move these around. We can add them, remove them if we choose to do so. Edit search criteria is just going to basically take us back to the previous screen. So I'm not going to click on that because I just don't want to waste time waiting for the system to reload the pages. Enter your own price. So the presentations have the ability to put in a slide or a page where you can tell them what you think the price is. So obviously be careful. Anything you put in here, you're going to be kind of held to it or you're going to be asked about it. So make sure you are able to have a conversation with your prospect, your seller, your buyer about why you feel like that is the price. And then if you put in a price range, also be careful, because what are sellers going to do when you type in a price range? They're not going to look at that minimum number. They're going to look at that maximum number because their house is perfect. Their house is awesome. They know that they can get top dollar because Zillow told them that they can get $900,000. And it just, you got to kind of expect the worst when you're putting in these numbers. So if you're not really sure, if you've never seen the property, you maybe haven't sold anything in that neighborhood before, you may just not want to put anything in these boxes, and that's totally okay. You're not required to put any information in here. Now, if you're working in an area where you really just want to focus on price per square foot as opposed to the actual price of the home, you can toggle those back and forth so you can see those different numbers. Now, under comparables, this is where you can add and remove your comps. So this one here says featured. I can also say I don't like this and I want to delete it. So let's say here, let me go to maybe some kind of pie in the sky. Okay, so here's a property that's $200,000 more than most of the properties in the area. I don't think that's a good comp for what I'm trying to accomplish here. So I'm going to click delete. And it's going to pull it out, but it's not going to actually delete it from the system. It's just going to suppress it so that it's not going to be pulled into the report. But if I say, oh gosh, you know what? Maybe I do need that property. I can just click on it, click the undo button, and it'll bring it back into the presentation. So now it is available for the presentation. I can click feature if I want to make sure it kind of stands out as a comp. So you would use feature, you would click on that button if you've got a comp that is like the same floor plan, it's next door, it's the same square footage, just a very, very close representation for the subject property that you're looking at. You can do adjustments. So if you know that a home has had, one of these comps has had a $50,000 kitchen remodel in the last couple months, you can put that in kitchen remodel and you can say that's a $50,000 enhancement, or it got somebody drove through the kitchen while they're being chased by the cops. You can say they damage, and they probably needs about $30,000 worth of work. You need to put the negative number in front of that, and then there you go. So anyhow, you can plus and minus those adjustments in, and hopefully you aren't going to be working with any homes that have had somebody drive into the kitchen. That would be bad. All right, so again, the way I've shown you how you can make properties stand out in the presentation, you can delete them and add them back in. You've got all this information over on the right-hand side that you can look at and make notes and things like that. Because this presentation, if you're sending them the web link, it becomes interactive. So if somebody says they've got this web-based presentation in front of them and they want more details about, they see a comp that they're like, well, wait a second, I've never seen that one before, and I want to look at the photos inside, see how it compares to mine. They can do that. And that's what's really cool about the web-based presentation, is they can really spend time and interact with it. Trends. So you can add in these different metrics, if you will. So over here on the left-hand side, you can see comp data, but if you go down, you'll see different metrics down here, like the averages, the highest. I can add in the median. So if I click on this, you can see over here, it drops something in, then it can show me the lowest price of pending properties. Maybe I want to do that on my closed properties. So the lowest closed comp for this presentation is 380,000. The nearest, I can add that one in, and here's the nearest comp is 450. And then I can just check these boxes, turn them on and off. I was talking to somebody yesterday. I don't know if they're on right now or not, but I guess that's not relevant, is know who you're talking to. Don't just load a presentation up with pages and pages and pages of data, because if you're dealing with somebody that's more emotional, not analytical, having 400 different data points of comps is probably not going to be of much value to them. They might need to see the slides that talk about things you need to do to get maximum value for your home and things like that. So just be careful about what you check off and check on. You might overwhelm the person you're going to be presenting to. So just keep that in mind. Features, this is where you can go in and select more detailed comp parameters. So if you want to make sure your comps all have a pool, you can click on that. You can click show all features, to fine-tune things even more. Just again, be careful. The more stuff you're selecting, the more condensed your comps are going to become, and it could affect your data. So you might need to go back in and uncheck things if you only have like one comp after you've gone through and selected your items here. And then you do need to make those changes for active and pending and closed, and that's just because of the way the system processes the MLS data. So it doesn't roll them all into one bucket. You've got an active pending bucket and a closed bucket. So if you're going to make changes or select more parameters, you got to make sure you do it on both, unless you don't feel the need to do it on one or the other. So I'm going to deselect that just so I don't throw off my comps, and then click that. Estimates. This is where you can enter in your own estimate price. Again, you may or may not want to do this. You could always put in the Zillow's estimate in there and use that as a part of your dialogue of, this is why we hate Zillow or something like that, or why we love Zillow, depending on, your relationship and your perception of the accuracy of their information. But they provide some verbiage here as to what you can use this for. You can add more in if you want. Right now, I'm just going to click X. And then outliers is a way to basically, again, weed out properties. So if you did have comps and there was like 50 solds and 30 pendings, you can use this to quickly whittle down those outlier comps that really shouldn't be in your presentation. Okay. Actual price, adjusted price, that just kind of moves things around a little bit. Whoops. Shoot, I clicked on a button I didn't need to. So I'm going to click build CMA, and it's going to take me back over. So just waiting a second. I got a little quick happy. So all of these again, I can click on them because this is how it's going to look for the consumer that you're putting this information in front of. So if you click on them, you're going to see what they're going to see. If you scroll down, it's going to show you the data that has been generated, shows you selling pace, active shelf life, price per square foot, just good data that is available to you and your prospect, your client. And yeah, so at this point, we've identified all the data we're putting into the system via the comps, either that we've selected through searching out the parameters or selecting the different parameters, or if we've uploaded our own MLS ID, property ID numbers. That's where we're basically at the point where we want to select the slides we want to use and then present the data, present the presentation. So I'm up here in the top right-hand corner. I clicked create presentation. And then here's where we get to see the actual presentation. So emphasis, default order, contingent, I'm shopping for you, make me list. So these are kind of pre-selected slides that the system will create. So basically templates, if you will, that really tie into this title, if you will. So I'm shopping for you. So that might be it says for this seller, it's not a question of timing or value. This seller is committed to sell. Their only hurdle is choosing the right agent is who the right agent is to list with. And then make me list is this seller is interested in selling, but only motivated to list if and when they can sell it and get top dollar. Their main hurdle is understanding why now is the right time to get the top dollar and why you are the one to get it. So again, these are just templates that will help you grab the correct slides as opposed to spending a lot of time weeding through the 20, 30, 40 slides that are preloaded in the system and selecting them that way. Now, you still have the ability to edit the slides or add and remove slides from the template, if you will, but it just, again, it kind of is a shortcut to get to where you need to narrow down those options. So the theme is going to change the look of the presentation a little bit. So modern, you can change things around here. Then luxury is obviously a RE/MAX collection, and they're all pretty much the same under the luxury. They may change that down the road. I'm not sure if they are going to do that or not. Promote presentation. So if you're just trying to create a CMA, click on CMA, and that's basically just going to be data. And then a single page review is going to be basically a snapshot of all that data and nothing else. No other slides talking about the value of RE/MAX or how to sell your home. So on the left-hand side, you can come back and add in slides if you choose. But again, these are just templates, if you will. Tony Johnson, my bold trail only give me an option for buyer presentation. So I'll come back to you here in a minute, Tony. I'm going to wrap this up and then I'll address that. And then my initial reaction is you might need to contact the support team, but let me finish this and I'll come back to you on that, okay? All right, so let's say we want to do a presentation here. Over here on the left-hand side is where you're going to be able to expand and contract the different presentations. Okay, yeah, the system is still lagging a little bit. So when I click on it, it's got a delay. In the meantime, I'm going to click on presentation prepared for. I can change this and say Beth and John Smith. Okay, I can change that. I can also edit all of this information if I don't want that to be in there. I can delete all of it and click apply. Whoops. Does it not let me wipe it out? It used to. Okay. So maybe I would need to, like, if I change that to 8. Okay. So you still have to leave the information in there, but you can change it if you choose to do so. Now you have the ability of uploading a photo. So if you have a photo of the property, so let's say I've got RE/MAX photos, I've got Arizona homes. So let's say this house is the one I'm listing. I can click use photo and now it's going to drop it in and put it into the presentation. So if I don't have a photo of the property, that's okay. Just click on no image and you'll just be able to personalize it to the people that you're presenting it to. Okay. I'm going to come back here and click default order and agent, traditional presentation. Okay, good there. Now, let's see. Yeah, the system, of course, the system is giving me some fits here. So I'm not sure how I'm going to get around this. Let me try updating presentation really quick, because this is where I would show you how to add and remove a slide, but because the system is having the issue that it was having last night and just not responding, it may be giving me some challenges here. Okay, so normally what you'd be able to do is you would see a little button here that says add slide, which you can click on. And because the system has got an issue for some reason right now, you should be able to click on add slide and then basically add in the slides that you want to see. Unfortunately, we've just hit kind of a roadblock here. I can go through and see the slides by clicking on them. Now, okay, this looks like it might be working a little bit better. So it allows me to see the slides. Now, let's say this market overview slide is not something that I want. I can click on it and I'm like, no, I don't want that one. I would be able to click this X button and it's going to take it out. It's going to remove it. Okay. So now it's gone away. Now I should be able to click add slide. Okay. Now it's kicked in and now it's working. All right. So I click on add slide, anything that is grayed out. So if I click on this, and again, it's dragging a little bit. If it's kind of muted in color, it's not bright and vibrant like it is now. If I click on it, it's going to turn it kind of gray and it will say included, or it will say not included underneath it. So again, the system's got some, they might be running some updates or something right now. There you go. So now that I've clicked on it and it's kind of muted out like this, that means it is now a part of the presentation. If I click on it again, normally what would happen is it would become bright and vibrant and very visible. And I would be able to, that's how I would know it is not a part of the presentation. So if it's muted, it'll normally say included. If it's bright and vibrant, it's going to say not included, but to change it to included, all you have to do is click on it and then click add selected slide. And then once the system responds, it will add that in. So I'm going to click cancel. Yeah, the system is just, it's not running like it's supposed to right now. Okay. Let's see if I can get this screen to click off. Hopefully, maybe it will. Yeah. All right. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to kind of come back to the beginning and get to the screen where we can create the presentation. All right. So let's say we've gone in, we've added and removed all of the slides that we want to create. We click present and share in the top right-hand corner. And again, for any of you that have gotten kind of confused because the system's not responding, I apologize. I don't know what else to say. Save and add client. This is where you would either type in the client name that's already loaded in your CRM. So it'll just populate it and I can click on them and it's going to send it to them or save it to their profile. Or if I don't have the person loaded yet, I can click on this and quickly create them. Joe Seller, Joe at excaliburrealestate.com. So this is going to add this person to my CRM just real quick and dirty so I can get this presentation in their hands. Add listing agreement link. This only works if you have an actual listing agreement that you want to upload and include in the presentation. Add net sheet. You would need to get this information from your title company because this is a multi-state system and rates and fees and everything vary from city to city, from county to county, from state to state. You will never see this pre-populated. You will need to enter that information as yourself or just leave it blank and it won't be entered in. Add a video link. So if you have like a video about yourself, a video about the community, something like that, you would need the link to it, kind of like we were talking about before. It needs to be a hosted link, not something that you would just upload into the system because it won't let you do that. They recommend YouTube or Loom to host your video. Open presentation. This is basically going to show you what the presentation looks like. So while it's loading, I'm going to click back here. Email presentation is exactly what you would expect it to be. A way to email the presentation. We kind of looked at that earlier. And you can click preview email or you can click send. Your email signature is all part of your email signature over here. When you get into the home screen, click on your image and go to my profile and you can update your email signature there. So this is what the presentation looks like with the slides that we've either added in or removed, or the ones that we've included in the presentation. And as you can see, everything is becoming interactive. I can click on things, and this is what your seller or your prospect would see. Okay. I'm going to click close and not send this, and then download and print. So this is going to create a PDF or a PDF file that you can save to your computer and then email it to whoever you want to send it to. So I can save this to my desktop or my downloads or wherever I want it to go. And then it's a PDF file that's on my computer. Now, here's something that's pretty cool. Down here is the actual link to the presentation, the web-based presentation. So you can click copy and you can email this link to someone. Or what I like, and this is kind of a quick trick, and then Tony, I'm going to get to your question here in just a minute. What you can do is I like the URL shortener, which is I'm back here at Mac Center. Use the URL shortener, which is a way to take a big, long, goofy looking link like this and share it via a short link, which becomes text message friendly, if you will. You can put it on business cards, flyers, whatever you want to do. Over here, you just click on create link, give the link a name. So you can call this Beth and Joe seller, and then you paste in the link. I'm a Windows guy, so I can just do Control V or right click and paste it in there, and then click create, and then it's going to create this real short, nice, neat, tidy link that I can text to someone, or I can use it wherever I want to take this big long link and shorten it into something that is a little bit easier to use. And you can generate a QR code for it and other stuff as well. So and then that's pretty much it for creating a presentation. Tony, I'm going to address your question now. I'm going to click on present home and go back to the beginning. So when you enter the present system, if the only thing you're seeing is presentation for buyers and you're not seeing anything else in here, if you're not seeing what you see on my screen, you absolutely have to contact the Bold Trail support team. And again, here's their information. I'll put it in the chat, and they would hopefully be able to help you with that. That's a goofy issue. I don't know why it would do that to you. It shouldn't. So something is amiss, and you'll need to contact the support team for some help there. Let's see, when the presentation. So again, the way you build a presentation is really the same regardless of whether it's for a buyer or seller. What's going to happen is if it's a buyer presentation, if you're just trying to win the representation, there's really no market data that you're trying to present. You can come in and say, Joe buyer, and then you can add in more verbiage if you choose. Click apply, scroll down. And yeah, when you click on these sections, normally it would expand it out and you would be able to add in and remove different slides, but the system is just not jiving right now. So, but trust me, when the system works out its glitch, you may not have it happening on your end, but I'm certainly having it happen on mine. You should be able to see where you can add in and remove slides. If I click back here, buyer tour. So this is where you can type in, Bob, buyer, or if it's not entered in as a contact, you can add them in quick and easily. Bob, whoops, not Bob, buyer, then Bob at msn.com. Okay, net, whatever, click add. And then it'll add them as a comp, and then I can add in the MLS IDs of the properties that I want this person to see. Then add off MLS. We talked about that earlier. I'm not sure if there's a real good reason to have that in there, but you can. Win the offer. This is basically you're creating a seller presentation, but at the end, when you're selecting slides, you're not going to be selecting slides on how to get top dollar for listing your home or how to clean your home prior to showings and things like that. You're going to have slides that speak to a buyer, not a seller. So that's really the only difference with the win the offer. And then general presentation is, again, very similar to what you would see with win the presentation. You would upload you can upload other information if you choose to do so. And then again, if you create a presentation and you want to edit it, you can easily just scroll down, search for it. If you've got hundreds to search through, or you can just scroll down and find the presentation you want to update, click update, and then you can go into the platform and start making edits to your presentation however you see fit. So let's see, I haven't seen anybody unmute themselves or type in any other questions, but we're kind of coming up on the top of the hour, and I promised I would hang around and answer questions if you have them. So now would be a good time to do that. Hey, who likes this? I mean, if you look at what's available in most, I don't know what Florida and Virginia Beach and New Jersey have for CMA tools as a part of the MLS, but I think most of them kind of look like garbage. There's nothing about you. There's nothing about Remax. The brand isn't in there. And I mean, God, I mean, that's why we're with Remax, is for the brand. If you know, it's the most valuable asset we have. So utilizing a system like this that reminds the client of the value of the brand and personalizes and gives you kind of a more professional look. I mean, even if this data or the presentation isn't perfect in your eyes, remember what your other options are and compare the two, and put yourself in the seat of a buyer or seller that would be receiving this information. You know, maybe we process presentations and data all day long. Like, we get numb to this stuff. But to a first-time home buyer or somebody that hasn't bought or sold a home in 10, 15 years, putting a digital presentation like this in front of them, or even the print presentation, could absolutely just blow their mind. So don't make assumptions. Let's use the tools that are available to us. This program itself, I think, is a few $100s if you were to go get it on your own, if you're with some XYZ company a county over. I mean, there's real value to these things. And I'm just talking about the present system. I'm not talking about the whole Bold Trail platform, which is a $1,000 a month investment on Remax's part for us. So yeah, hopefully you can get in and play with this and make it look the way you want it to. And if you have questions about the presentation, I've set up meetings with some of you already, and using my texting me, calling me, or using my online calendar, you can set up 15, 20, any type of appointment with me, so we can sit down via Zoom or in person. If you're here in Arizona, we can go through and really dig in and make this thing work for you, because that's my goal. I want you to get value out of these tools. There's nothing in it for me. I'm here every day regardless, and I'd rather be doing things that help my agents out, helping them get more listings, get more buyers, get top dollar for their listings. Like, that's my motivation. That's what I want to do. So that's what I'm here to help you with. And if I can't if I don't have the answer, I will do everything in my power to get it for you. So any other questions, comments, anything I can help you with? I'm not going to jump off here. I'll hang around for a couple minutes.
Quick question. Well, is this being recorded? And if so, where can we find it? Is it on that link that you left in the chat?
I am recording it, and I will give you the link to the folder that I'm going to drop it into. Give me just a moment here. Let's see here. I've got a public folder, and then let's see, where is it? There it is. Got it. Okay. So the link I'm going to share with you is a Dropbox link, and you need the link in order to be able to access the videos. And oops, gotta do this one more time. I'm going to put it in the chat box. So you'll want to copy it and save it to your computer. All of the trainings that I've done and recorded, I've included in this folder. So you will find other present and other Bold Trail trainings. I've titled them and given them some information that will help you identify what's what, so you're not just randomly clicking on videos trying to find the one you're looking for. So if you use that link that I just put in the chat, click on it, save it, bookmark it, whatever you need to do. That's where you will get the videos. And I should be able to have this uploaded into that folder. Give me a couple hours, because the video file is fairly large and it's got to be downloaded and then uploaded, then synced, and it takes a couple minutes for it to all come together. So hopefully that'll help. Any other questions? All right, cool. All right. Well, again, I'm here to help you. The support team is here to help you. We all want to make sure you get the value out of it. So if you find yourself in a situation where something's not working the way it should, or can't find what you're looking for, don't get frustrated and go do something else. Let's, call me, text me, call the support team, give us a chance to help you so you can get what you need and get the value. So I'll put my information in the chat one more time so you have it front and center. And then if there's no other questions or comments, I will sign off, and we'll do this again next Tuesday. Let's see, while I'm waiting for that, let me see what our next session is going to be. It is going to be, we are going to be talking about, this is going to be, setting up the social aspect of Bold Trail. So if you're on social media and want to have your listings being sent to Facebook, and you want to have cool articles talking about real estate posted to your social media accounts, mainly Facebook and LinkedIn, synchronizing your activities with social media, just really set it and forget it type stuff, keeping you front and center, because social media, really the purpose of social media to us is advertising and just staying relevant in our followers and our friends and clients' minds. So there's a lot of automation built into the platform that will help you with that. So that's what we're going to be talking about next Tuesday, 11 a.m. East Coast time, 8 a.m. Arizona time, and bookmark it, or I'm sorry, put it in your calendars. And we'll be doing these for another 3-4 weeks, I think. And then we'll probably restart the series for anybody that needs a refresher or is new to the company. So, all right, everybody. Hope you have a great day. Good luck out there. I'm standing by if I can help, and I look forward to seeing you all on Tuesday of next week. All right. Thanks for popping in, and have a great day. Take care, everybody. Thank you, Julie.
Thank you.
You're welcome.